All right, so today we're gonna try the Korean beef that we just canned. So I thickened it a little bit on the stove. You would use whatever thickener you normally use. We are keto, so I use glucomannan. And I would normally serve this on top of rice, but again, we are keto. So I am using cauliflower mash. And we have broccoli, and as always this time of year, we have fresh tomatoes. So we're gonna give this a shot and see what we think. You ready?
Testing the beef?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. That's good, babe.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Is it spicy enough for you?
No? But I like everything. Stuff spicy is crazy.
It is good.
Oh, it's very good.
I had a little more salt and a little more pepper.
Yeah.
Because when I opened the jar, it wasn't quite seasoned enough.
That's really good.
Oh, it's good.
I could eat that a lot.
Yeah. Well, you may have to. And what do you think of your cauliflower mash?
I know, I like it. She tricked me about a week ago. Said that we had mashed potatoes. They were cauliflower mashed potatoes.
No, I said we had no carb mashed potatoes. And you liked them.
And they were cauliflower.
Yeah, they were cauliflower.
Oh, they're so good too.
After years of saying, no, yuck.
I know, really. You tricked me.
Girls gotta do what a girl's gotta do, babe.
That was a good trick. Don't ever try it again.
Yeah.
So good.
It is good.
Oh yeah.
All right, thank you. Now we're gonna go make this. Welcome to Garden Preserve. I'm Carter, and I'm so glad you're here today. We have a quick hit that we're gonna get on the shelf today. This one, if you watched Becky over at Acre Homestead 2 or 3 weeks ago, she did an episode on crockpot recipes. And one of them, I thought, I can can that. I should can that. She should can that. We should all can that. So that's what we're gonna do today. If you were watching, it was her Korean beef recipe that she tried. She tasted it, said it needed seasoning, so I went ahead and added some. I'm gonna add some more. I don't know how much she added, but we're gonna get it up to a level where I think it needs to be. But this turned out to be a really, really great option to have on the shelf. It's different than anything else I have on my shelf, Korean beef. And it was so easy. Now you might put it on top of rice or potatoes or, I don't know, whatever, anything you want, stir fry. I did mine on top of cauliflower mash because we are keto. I would have done cauliflower rice, but David doesn't like that. So we did cauliflower mash, and then I served it with some broccoli. And it was a fantastic dinner. So I'm excited to get some more of this. I did 6 jars before. We're gonna do 6 jars today. I have 5 left, and I need to stock up. All right, let's get started. I'm gonna bring you down so you can see how we do the marinade. Okay, so we are going to heat this marinade. Now I'm doing a raw pack on the beef. I'm just heating the marinade enough to melt the sugar, okay? So we're gonna start with 3/4 cup of beef broth. So this is what was left from my beef broth the other day. All right, next up is 1/2 cup of soy sauce, and it does call for reduced sodium soy sauce, which may go a ways to explain why there wasn't enough salt in this recipe. I am using reduced sodium because that's what I had in my pantry. So if you use regular soy sauce, you might want to adjust how much salt I add to this recipe. But certainly if you're using reduced sodium, you're going to wonder where the flavor went because there's not enough salt. Okay, 1/2 cup. 1/3 cup of brown sugar. So I'm going to use allulose, but you can use regular sugar and a little bit of molasses, or you can use brown sugar. 1/3 cup. And this is what we need to melt. It's almost 1/3. And then just a little bit of molasses to give it the brown sugar flavor. Okay. Next up is 5 to 6 cloves of chopped garlic. These were some big cloves, but that is quite all right with me. I'm going to do a tablespoon of sesame oil. Two tablespoons of rice vinegar. Two tablespoons. The original recipe calls for freshly grated ginger, 2 tablespoons of that. If you have it, 2 tablespoons of freshly grated ginger would be fantastic. I do not have it. I'm going to use just some powdered ginger here. And I'm going to use almost a full tablespoon, so I'd call it 2.5 teaspoons. Next is something I cannot pronounce, do not have. Gochujang, I don't know, I will put it on the screen. I don't have any of that, I don't know what it is. It does say down in the directions that I'm using here, if you don't have it, just substitute a little bit of Sriracha sauce, a little more soy sauce, and a little more sweetener if you need it. I'm not going to add any more sweetener, but I will add a little more soy sauce, and I'll add a little bit of my homemade Sriracha. You can, of course, leave it out altogether if you don't want any heat at all. That little bit of Sriracha does not add a whole lot of heat to 6 pints worth of meat, which would be 12 servings. Okay, onion powder. I'm going to do a teaspoon of onion powder. And 1.5 teaspoons of pepper. I'm going to do a tablespoon of salt. So that is a tablespoon spread out over 6 pints. So it's about half a teaspoon per pint. So that's not a whole lot. That's what I'm going to use. When I canned it before, I only did 1 teaspoon of salt. The recipe itself had no salt in it at all, which is why it was really lacking when I tried it the first time. So I'm going to add a full tablespoon this time, because the last time I had to add additional salt and pepper at the end as I was cooking. And as I said, I'd like this to just be complete, ready to go. All right, I'm going to give this a stir, put it on the stove. All I want to do is heat it up, and then we're going to get our meat underway. All right, so that only took 5 minutes to melt the sugar. So the sauce is good to go. I'm going to add that to 4 pounds of beef. Now, this is the beef stew meat from Costco. Last time I used pot roast, chuck roast, also from Costco, and it was really good. It was a lot more work than this. A lot of trimming had to be done on that. So they did have my stew meat this time, so that's what I got this time, and it's gonna work perfectly. So all I did was measure out 4 pounds of this, and then we're gonna add the sauce to it. You wanna taste the sauce before you put it in. It should be salty. It should be very well seasoned, because we're about to season 4 pounds of beef that is also going to release its own juices. So it'll release a little bit of beef broth into the jar. So we want to make sure that we have enough salt to carry all of that. All right, I'm just going to get this in, and we're going to mix it up and then put it in the jars. It is really that easy. Now I could have just put the meat in the jars first and then ladled in the sauce on top, but This is a marinade, basically, and it is going to cook in its marinade, but I want the marinade covering all of the beef. All right, let's get the jars. All right, 6 jars out of the dishwasher this morning. So I have 4 pounds of beef, 6 jars, and we're going to watch our headspace on this one because, as I said, we are raw packing and the meat is going to release some of its own juices. So you will see how this goes as we fill these up. I'm going to fill with the beef first, and then we're going to come back and add the sauce. So we just want really an even fill on all of these. And this is enough for 2 of us to have dinner. Now, it may not be enough for every family for 2 of you to have dinner, in which case you can start with a little more beef and just be very careful on the level of your sauce. That would be fine. But this, in fact, I didn't even put all of it on our plates in the clip, and David came back and finished off the rest. So when you pull this beef out, put it in the pot, you know, it'll come out as shredded beef. For those of you who haven't canned a lot of meat, it'll come out basically as shredded beef. And you break it up a little bit as you're warming it up. Maybe you're stirring in some thickener, maybe you're stirring in some coconut milk, or maybe you're just heating it up. And break it up just a little bit. It'll be absolutely perfect. There's no need to go to all the trouble now of cutting it into little bite-sized pieces. You could also do this in quarts if you'd like enough to serve maybe a family of 4 or 5. That would work just fine. Instead of canning it for the 75 minutes we're going to do today, you would do it for the meat time for quarts, which is 90 minutes in a pressure canner. I'm going to use my Presto Electric today because I only have 6 jars going in, so it's the perfect size. Okay, so I have about 1.5 inches headspace with the beef, and that is just fine. These jars, when I fill them up with the liquid, probably be to about here on the liquid, and then anything that's released from the beef will still have room because the beef itself will shrink as the liquid gets released. All right, put this in a measuring cup. When we get down to the bottom, I'm going to make sure that some of that garlic gets in every jar. Let that settle down. We're definitely going to debubble these because we have liquids and solids. Let's debubble. right. Now I'm going to even these out just a bit. And then I'm going to scoot some garlic into each. Well, that was pretty painless, wasn't it? All right, I'm going to wipe the rims with some white vinegar because I know they're going to be a little bit sticky. So we have about 1.5 inches headspace, very generous inch, and that is going to be perfect because, where is mine? So you can see how this one ended up, and it started out looking just like this one. So that liquid level is just going to rise a little bit, the meat level is going to go down just a little bit, and you're going to end up with a perfect inch, basically. So even though the liquid that I put in here was hot when I put it in, I put it on cold meat and mixed it up. It is no longer hot. So my canner is just room temperature water. It is not preheated. As I said, these pints are going to go for 75 minutes. If you were doing quarts, it would be 90 minutes. This is just a fun thing to have on the shelf. I got to tell you, it's different than anything else I have on my shelf. It's different than anything else, you know, any of my neighbors or friends may have on their shelves. And I am really liking it. All right, some new lids, 4 jars. If you don't have enough lids, after all of your summer canning, make sure you pick some up. I have a code down below and a link for you down below. The code is Carter10. If you go in just straight from the internet, Carter10 will still get you 10% off. Okay, I'm going to get my rings on fingertip tight, if it cooperates. Just do it till it catches, and then just a little bit more. Again, till it catches, and then just a little bit more. I had no siphoning on these at all. Last time I did them, everybody sealed, of course. All right, I'm going to get these in the canner, and then we'll be back when they come out. I wish you could smell my kitchen right now. This is just finished, and it smells fantastic. There we go, still bubbling away. Fresh out of the canner, that's 6 pints. They have all already sealed. So I hope you enjoyed something new and different today, and I hope you give this a try. I think you'll be really glad to have it on your shelf. So I know we have more produce coming in, and we'll be back. I've got a ton of jalapenos to take care of, so you're going to see some jalapenos coming up. But I am really ready to stock the shelves with soups and meals and meal starters. Anyway, we're going to do it all. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad to have you. Bye-bye.